the minutes that are left, go to the story of Moses and lifting up the serpent in the wilderness to explain this.
This is so exciting. In fact, it's in the 3rd chapter of John, the one that we were in. Jesus is speaking to Nicodemus and says, "Just as Moses lifted up the snake in the desert, so the Son of Man must be lifted up, that everyone who believes in him may have eternal life." You remember the story? The people had a plague. They were cursed of God because of disobedience, and God sent a plague. Moses said, "What do I do?" And God says, you take a serpent, I think it was a brass serpent, a snake, you put it on a pole, and everybody who's going to look at this pole is going to live. Now, John, I can imagine that there was some scientist among them, some skeptics, I'm sure they were, who said, that does not make a bit of sense. What possible connection can there be between me looking at the pole with the serpent outside of me? How can that affect the disease of my body and stop the progress of the disease? Scientifically, medically, rationally, no sense at all. But you know what? God says if you do that, I will do a miracle. And there are some people who are listening today who are saying, you know, this business of Jesus dying so many years ago, what does his death 2,000 years ago have anything to do with me? What's the connection? God makes the connection. And today there are people who could be looking to Christ, who can look to Christ with that look of faith. And as a result of seeing Jesus, not on a pole, but as it were on a cross, and then of course dying and raising it again and ascending into heaven, who say, I want to receive that. What they will discover is not only that they will be justified, which we discussed in detail in our last program, but something else will happen. There will be a miracle that will take place in their hearts. And they'll say, I don't understand it, but it's happened. It's called the new birth.